Hello, my name is Zakiyah, and this is Bibliobrainwaves, a podcast that expounds on the philosophical thoughts and teachings of authors of books about integrative healing. Our first book we're going to be talking about is The Intuitive Dance by Atherton Drenth, and the subtitle is Building, Protecting, and Clearing Your Energy. Okay, so we're on chapter 1, page 8, paragraph 1. We need our egos. The pain of our perceived flaws compels us to cover them up. When we deny certain aspects of ourselves, we overcompensate by becoming their opposite. Now, that's just a quick quote. My thought on this is definitely that we need an ego because, we need to feel good about ourselves. We need to be able to put ourselves out there and strut our stuff because we're special, right? We are indeed special, and I really feel like when we try to cover up who we genuinely are, it's something like some type of reaction that happens in our body where we have a panic attack. But we force it until we have done what we've perceived to be a shift in our personality, a shift in our being, when really we've ultimately sent our spiritual selves into somewhat of a shock. And it's like, who am I now? What am I going to do? And you spend a lot of time, a lot of your life putting energy towards changing yourself when really you need to see it as you've been who you were supposed to be since you got here. It's just that your environment has caused you to shift your your perception of what it is that you were created to be, who you were created to be. When you were a little kid, you were probably like, I want to be a fighter, I want to be a singer, I want to be a dancer, I want to be this, I want to be that. But then, you start school and then you become, saturated with all these different opinions that people have of what you should do and how you should do it and why you should do it and when you should do it. And that's why people get trapped and forget who they were, who they wanted to be, what their aspirations were. So, ultimately, we have to stop letting our environment dictate what and who we are. If you wanted to be a statue out in Times Square or something like that, one of those people that paints themselves and everything and just performs, you could do that. Life is not about money. Life is not about status, okay? You have to have enough self-esteem, enough awareness to know that even if it's your parents who are telling you, you can't do that, that's not the family way. Think about all those families that have family businesses. And then there's that one kid that's like, I don't want to do that. And then, it's called breaking generational curses. But it's not really a curse. You just want to go a different way, and that's okay too. You don't have to be trapped in, this is who I am because this is what they say I am. This is what I was born into. That's not what it is. So, in saying that, you have to perceive your flaws as foundation for your transformation. So look at it this way. say you have dry skin. Most people would see that as a flaw. Okay, so then what do? You buy lotion after lotion after lotion, and then you're realizing this one might have a chemical that I'm allergic to. This one might make my skin even drier. This one makes my skin soft, but then not for that long. So, what is the solution? You go and create something yourself. You try to find something that works for you, that creates somewhat of a solution for this perceived flaw, or you accept it. Now, most people are going to try to create a solution for themselves, which is great, but also we can accept it as beauty. Think about also, going in line with skin. Let's talk about what is it? I'm sorry, I'm blanking. Vitiligo. People are just now starting to accept people with the different shades of skin, and I think it looks cool. Like, the first supermodel that stepped out and was like, yes, I have this, but I'm different. Like, think about it like that. Like, people say, this is a pipe dream if you want to do acting, if you want to do singing, dancing, all of that. But it's like, okay, other people are doing it, so what's so bad if I do it? But, it's all about your perception of yourself. You cannot allow other people's perception of you dictate what you gonna do, what you gonna be. And then the third paragraph goes into work with it and stop fighting it, right? So, like I was saying, you have a perceived flaw, you have a perceived issue, you have to work with it, work through it, work, right? So, and work has a negative connotation to it, right? You really think about like, I'm going to have to exert all of this energy and I don't have time and yada, yada, yada. So what would be a good word to replace work? I'm trying to think. Maybe just progress. You shouldn't try to, you shouldn't strive for, my tongue is really tied. You shouldn't strive for perfection. You should strive for progression. Okay? So I'll say that again. Strive for progression, not protection or perfection. Oh God. Okay. So anyway, I'm not editing this. This is my first episode. I'm giving it to y'all raw. Okay. Anyway, the next part says, my ego just needed help in growing up and learning a different set of beliefs. So it's all about mindset. People always say, shift your mind, shift this, shift that. But they never tell you how to do it. And we're just now, speaking on, introspection, meditation, self-awareness, and what that looks like. Because it's always been people knowing you have to do this, you have to be able to look inside of yourself. And you hear all of that and you're like, okay, whatever that means, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, it's really about writing down questions like, who am I? Why am I? Where am I? And when am I? Those type of questions keep you grounded in where you are in yourself. Especially if you're journaling, you write those questions out and then you write out your answers without editing it. Just let it flow, and then read it back to yourself, and it'll definitely help. When am I? Who am I? Why am I? How am I? When will I? Things like that. Because those types of questions will create a thought process in your head to be able to say, okay, so this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be, and this is where I was. When you can answer those 3 questions, you'll be on the path to realizing that you are ultimately in control of only what you can do. Nobody else has any type of influence on what you've got going on unless you let it happen. Because when you answer those questions and people come in and then they say, this is not who you are and this is not what you're supposed to be, you think back and you say, how do you know? Who are you to tell me? Who are they to tell you? And even if they are an authority figure like a parent, a boss, anything like that, parents can be wrong too. Bosses can be wrong too. Your spouse can be wrong as well. This is your life, okay? So you take control of it. I don't care who's talking to you. I don't care, all right? As long as it's not, some type of, I don't even know. Like, I know people say, God told me this and God told me that. And that's okay, respectfully, that's your journey, All I'm saying is, on your life journey, you take control of your life journey. That's the basis of what I'm saying. Don't let nobody else tell you how to live your life, And then it goes on to say on page 9 of chapter 1, when that little voice in the back of your mind is loud enough, you will do anything to stop the inner pain and torment of what it's saying to you. Now, this is where it gets crazy, right? So, everybody, like, it's not something to make you sound crazy. Like, you got a voice in your head. You might think of schizophrenic people or something like that. No, this is not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is an inner guide, an inner knowing of yourself. Because you have to understand that we are more than the physical body. We are a spiritual being. People try to think about, how did we get here? The Big Bang Theory, things of that nature. But all of us are basically trying to say, whatever the message is, the foundation of that message is that we have an understanding that there is a force that is bigger than all of us. And that ultimately we're all interconnected, no matter what we look like, what we sound like, what we smell like, all of that. The foundation is the same, okay? So when you listen to this inner guidance, you can either take it as a negative guidance or a positive guidance. Just like when they say, you have to take what people say with a grain of salt. Somebody say you ugly, are you going to say, you know what, you're right, I am ugly today? Or are you going to say, that must be somebody trying to project how they feel about themselves on me? Are they mirroring? Are they looking at you, seeing themselves and wishing that they were like you? Or are they speaking facts? You have to be able to determine that for yourself, okay? So that's where the inner knowing comes in. Do you know yourself? Or are you basing your self-image on what somebody else said? Check your mirror. Clean your mirror. Is it you? Is it somebody else? What are you doing? Okay? Self-reflection. Get into it. Now, it goes on to say, we all suffer in one way or another, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. We are all still souls having a human experience. Exactly what I said. So, I bleed, you bleed, I can get sick, you can get sick, Anything that can happen to one person can happen to another, even if it has not happened yet. I'm going to say that again. It can happen to you, even if it hasn't happened yet. So you always hear in the news when something tragic happens, they say, just, you think it can't happen to you. And then that always threw me, because I'm like, why are people thinking that only one person can have an experience, but it just can never happen to them? Like, they really have created a brainwashing system that has been perfected to create people's brain to think that we are separate. We are only separate in location and how we look, and even sometimes not even that, because there's such a thing as twins, okay? Triplets, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes we don't even have that type of separation. So we're all interconnected, okay? Much of what our egos believe are the lies we tell ourselves, and it really starts to sink in. See, that's what I'm talking about. So, your self-talk has to be on point. It has to be, when somebody comes and says, you ain't all that, then you go home and you say, I am that, and some, and extra, because you are. Like, come on, friend. Like, why are we sad for? Like, you ain't that, you ain't nobody, and I'm somebody to me. That's all that matters, because who are you? You need to get yourself together, right? When somebody comes to you with that negativity, it's because they're feeling it for themselves, and misery loves company. Don't be that company. We're not three's company over here. It's not that kind of party. It's not living single. We're not in a boarding house. We not together, is what I'm telling you. All right. When they come with the negative energy, you got to create an invisible bubble around yourself. You got to be able to breathe. You got to be able to say, this ain't me. Imagine a bubble around you that's deflecting everything that they say, everything, and it's bouncing off of you and going back on them. And watch their facial reactions, watch their physical reactions. It will literally show you that they're like in shock, just like, oh my goodness, like, I can't hurt this person. And it's like, because you know who you are. And it's like, okay, so now that you've gotten that off your chest, what's the issue? And why are you bringing it to me? Then you have to do a reflection on yourself of, why do they feel comfortable enough to come to you with that kind of energy? That's another self-reflection that you have to take onto yourself, because now that you know what they're saying is false and probably a projection of themselves, what position have you portrayed of yourself how have you positioned yourself in this relationship with this person for them to feel comfortable enough to come at you like this? Because then that means you need to do some more work, some more foundation, some more progressive work. Progression, evolution is what I'm saying, in yourself, to just really understand that, ego isn't a bad thing, but it's when you think you're everything and everybody else is nothing. Ego is when you think, or bad ego, I should say. Bad ego is when you think, I'm all that in a bag of chips and everybody ain't nothing but the plate that I put the chips on. Okay? No, nobody is below you. Everybody's a full meal. Okay? Some people might be off in the head or something like that, but those people need help. Okay? And sometimes we're not going to be able to give it to them, because they have to be willing to accept. You have to be willing to accept the help. They have to be willing to accept the help. If they're not willing to accept, you can't give it, because it's not going nowhere. You can't fill a cup that has a lid on it. They always say, you can't pour into a cup when you have nothing. It means the same thing. You can't have a full cup and try to pour into somebody else's half full cup if there's a lid on it. They're not willing to accept. I'll continue this if this podcast gets enough, following, positive reviews. But thank y'all for listening. That's just a little blurb of, just what I've been reading. But thank y'all so much for listening. And y'all have a good night. Goodbye.